To really understand the economic, environmental and social value of building with timber, you have to start right at the beginning of the supply chain.
We're here in Ballintemple, County Carlow, where wood products like these begin their life. From seed to tree to building products in as little as 15 years. Building with wood is not only renewable and sustainable, but it makes sound economic sense to address climate change and help solve the housing crisis. How is this? Because Ireland's mild oceanic climate is absolutely perfect for growing fast-growing trees. And faster-growing trees mean we can build more timber frame houses much faster than traditional construction methods. Coillte is the Irish state-owned forestry and land solutions company. We're privileged to be custodians of 7% of Ireland's land cover. Our forests and lands now extend to over 440,000 hectares. The word coillte is the Irish name for forests or woods. In nurseries like this one, over 25 million bare-rooted plants are produced every year, most of which are used to renew our own forests. 12 different species are produced here, including Sitka spruce, lodgepole pine and other conifers used in commercial forestry to make engineered wood products and timber products for the construction industry. We also produce a variety of broadleaves such as oak, alder, birch, beech and rowan, which are used to reforest Ireland in native woodlands. Both types of forests are used for a wide variety of freely available recreational activities for the people of Ireland. And of course, protecting biodiversity on which so many of Ireland's native animals and plants depend.
In fact, Coiltte's vision and purpose is to create a sustainable future from our forests and lands. MEDITE SMARTPLY is part of the Coillte Group, which yields some important advantages. Firstly, it means that our long-term supply of wood is guaranteed. Secondly, it means that all of the wood we use comes from responsibly managed forests, which are both FSC and PEFC certified. And thirdly, we are a profitable and well-invested business, which means we're here for the long term, supporting our customers and their customers into a more sustainable future for all.
Forestry is Coiltte's core business, so trees are at the heart of everything we do. The Irish forestry sector employs over 12,000 people and every year contributes €2.3 billion to the Irish economy. The industry has the opportunity to double in size over the next 10 years, and Coillte will play a leadership role in this growth. Such economic growth is of course important, but these trees are even more important than that. They are the key to unlocking far greater value for future generations in the form of carbon sequestration and storage. As these trees grow, they absorb carbon dioxide or CO2 from our polluted atmosphere. Carbon dioxide is made up of carbon and oxygen. And as the tree grows upwards and outwards, the tree holds onto the carbon and releases the oxygen back into the atmosphere to give us the clean air that we need to breathe. It's the carbon that remains locked up in the tree that becomes the natural building block of wood. These wide growth rings indicate how fast the tree has grown. And the faster a tree grows, the more carbon it absorbs from the atmosphere. Ireland's forests store an incredible 312 million tonnes of carbon in the wood, in the root structure and in the soil. And each additional year, an additional 3.6 million tonnes of carbon is sequestered by fast-growing Irish forests. When trees like the ones we see here get cut down for commercial value, there are broadly speaking, two things to do with the wood. The first is to burn it, usually in large volumes, for example in power stations, which immediately releases all of that stored CO2 back up into the atmosphere. So it's clearly not the best choice. The second option is to use the trees to make sustainable wood products like the ones we see here, and use those products to build greener homes, thereby locking up all of that stored carbon deep within the building structure well into the future. So for any policymakers out there, it's an absolute no-brainer. Only wood and other natural products are carbon negative because they store more carbon in their structure than gets emitted during manufacture. Throughout this series, I'll be referring to engineered wood products. So let's take a closer look at what that means. A tree is natural, and therefore it has natural variability within its structure. It also has some inconsistencies, such as knots, which is where the branches once grew. When we engineer timber, we essentially alter or design out these inconsistencies to create consistent products with very predictable design characteristics. Essentially, we take the tree apart and stick it back together again in the form of engineered wood products like MDF and OSB. The raw material for MDF comes in two forms. The first is small diameter pulpwood logs like this. The second is wood chip from the sawmilling sector, which is a byproduct or waste from the sawmilling sector. We take the logs and wood chip and we grind it down into individual fibers like this, which is then used to make MDF. In the case of OSB, again, we use small diameter pulpwood logs, only this time we cut the tree into small, thin strands of wood like this.
Next, we add resin, wax and other ingredients and press the wood fibres and strands under heat and pressure to make a wide variety of wood products that are engineered to the highest quality and fulfill a multitude of specialist functions within a building. Such functions include flame retardants, moisture resistance, low emissions, airtightness, vapour control and high-strength wood panels. We even make a product suitable for extreme external conditions that's guaranteed to last at least 50 years outside.
By engineering wood in these ways, there is zero waste. Every part of the tree gets used. Even the bark gets used in the equine and horticultural industries. The wood chip residue from the sawmill sector is known as pre-consumer recycled content, so it's an excellent example of circularity in the built environment. When you couple this with the responsible forest practices that I mentioned earlier, you really get a good idea of the multifaceted value of building with wood.
When we return to the building site, we'll be looking at how easy it is to achieve the highest performance in building standards using these very products without having to compromise on either quality or sustainability.